Don't you morons realize I can make us all the Neon Crew podcast? Now, there's a reason why it is so bare bones.
Okay.
And I wanted to choose a different quote because I know there are tons of lines in the movie where he's talking about either being a dog or just thinking about being a dog or like acting like a dog, going woof woof, like, oh, there's a sandwich. Oh, I want the sandwich. My yard, my yard, my yard. He's going all crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barely any quotes on IMDb for me to pull.
Really?
This was maybe the top one, and it's not even from Tim Allen. It's from the character of Dr. Kozak, played by Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah. In the courtroom.
Yeah, in the courtroom. And, I mean, mild spoiler for the Shaggy Dog. We'll get into it. But there was barely anything for me to work with. I had to really, like, scrape together this. Because I thought to myself, do I go with a K-pop song? Do I go with a K-pop Demon Hunters track? Try to do that in, like, the hour that I have before Matt comes over for us to record.
Right.
Or do I just take the low road? And I decided to take the low road because that's what the Shaggy Dog does. 2006.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 103 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
Mac.
We got some movies to discuss. So we talked a little bit about K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yep.
Last episode. I brought it up as part of a segment in the episode that had to do with news, in that K-pop Demon Hunters became the most watched movie on Netflix, beating Red Notice. And I think in a sort of theatrical release for a Netflix original, it had surpassed Glass Onion, which I think was number one in that category. I recently read. Have you seen Glass Onion?
Seen this? Is that the second one or the first one?
Second one.
Yeah.
I
have not seen Knives Out.
You've seen Glass Onion, but not Knives Out.
Yeah, but I heard that they're like tangentially related, or I know
you
it's
can watch
the same character, but it's not like it's a continued story.
Right. You can catch them on their own, and it's fine. There's no like real continuity. Daniel Craig is the only thing that carries over from each film to film.
Yeah.
He's like the Hercule Poirot of those movies.
Yeah, fun character, and they played
Benoit Blanc.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Good God.
It's a fun name I love those stupid detective names that are fun to say. Hercule Poirot, Benoit Blanc.
Yeah,
Sherlock
It's a
Holmes.
kids episode, so I won't do the joke.
Yes, that is also something we need to preface.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this episode, you've listened to previous installments of us in the past, you'll know that we are sometimes salty boys. We get a little sailory in our language and our prose and how we discuss movies. But because this episode has us discussing specifically 2 PG movies,
we're going to keep it.
We're going to keep it PG, at least to the best of our ability. And if swearing does happen to come up in this episode, either from myself or McLean, I will put a funny little censor noise in place instead of what we actually say.
Right.
So instead of me saying, what the
oh, there it is.
It's going to be whatever you just heard is the sound effect.
Yeah.
Which it'll be a little surprise for you guys. I already know what I'm choosing.
Yeah.
But yes, kid-friendly episode. First ever, maybe only ever on the Neon Crew. I mean, we'll see. Maybe this will be a success. It's going to be a lot of work on my part because I'm going to have to insert some sound effects and some things to
I might be able to keep it clean.
Readjust certain elements. But I know you can probably keep it cleaner more than I can. You're probably used to censoring yourself a little bit because you're around your offspring, right?
Yes, that is.
And I'm not talking about the band.
No, I'm about to say I got that in my football players, but it's
got to keep them separated.
More nice. Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. And also with the movies, one for sure. I don't have to cost that. One probably deserves it, but
yeah. The other one's going to be a bit more of a challenge for, I think, the both of us to hold back our
rage,
uncensored feelings.
I don't know if I will be as passionate on you but I will definitely hop in, and we'll also find out because I say that, and then I usually get riled up.
Yeah. It's funny how often that happens when you say, I don't know how much of a beef I have with this movie, and then we get into it, and you are just like steamrolling in a good way.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I got to get out of here.
I know that with the Shaggy Dog, I was under the weather watching it. So
You're a bit under the weather now.
well, I feel better. Like everything feels fine. It's literally just my voice. But during that time, I was not feeling great. So I threw it on, thinking that it'd be a little bit of an upbeat kick after my nap, and
it was a different kind of kick. Kick to the stomach.
No, there was no kick. I think that every once in a while there's a nothing burger movie where you just get nothing from it. There's nothing that's emoted and it's over with, and you go, yep. Yeah. And then you just sit back in your chair and it's on to the next activity.
I like to think of memories, and I think this is an accurate take on this sort of thing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I like to think of memories as storage space, kind of like on your computer.
Yeah, I call it RAM.
Right. And you only have so much RAM to store facts, datas, what have you. For me, it's movies, television, books, any sort of art, music that I put in my RAM, my memory banks, and then it's locked in at a certain point if I love it to a degree. And then if it's something that I'm like, a little bit lukewarm on, it's like, okay, it might stay there a while, but then after a month or two, it'll get deleted in the cache. And then there are movies like Shaggy Dog where they somehow get dropped into the files, and I'm like, gotta get this out of here. No, I don't need this taking up space. Yeah,
that is I don't even know how I would describe it. It's like a Google search where you spelled the guy's name wrong, and it's like, oh, I guess it's still just there.
Yeah,
that's about it.
It's just taking up space in your search bar.
In the search bar.
Yeah,
that'll be about as far as it goes.
Right. What was that? I guess I can ignore that for now.
I don't know if in a month from now, if someone asks about the Shaggy Dog, I'll be like, oh, is that with? We'll find out.
Before we have the Shaggy Dog, though, we've got a different type of kid-oriented piece of entertainment.
Ooh.
And, of course, I'm talking about K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
So this was paired with Shaggy Dog. I recommended Shaggy Dog.
So we're going to do K-pop first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense. We usually go newer to older.
Yeah, dinner before dessert.
Not even empty calories. All right, K-pop Demon Hunters. Here we go. We've talked about this a little bit. But,
a little bit.
Here we go. K-pop Demon Hunters, 2025 Netflix original.
Yeah. I mean, it was owned by Sony, and then they sold the rights to Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sony stand-up job with what to release in theaters versus
great choice, great decision by their part.
Oh my God, could you imagine if this hit theaters and how popular it could have gotten where they have like sing-alongs going on?
They're doing that now. It's a retroactive thing. It's like, this movie had so much success on streaming. It's like, it's undeniable now.
You use the word retroactive. I'm saying like you're capturing that and then you get the little tidbits afterwards. Mm-hmm. Whereas these guys were like, oh, it's doing well. So anyways, K-pop Demon Hunter 2025. Directed by Chris Applehans.
It looks German.
And one other. And
Maggie Kang.
And screenplay by Danya Jimenez, Hannah McMeechan, Maggie Kang, Chris Applehans, Ben Yochim, and Erica Lepolt. Sure. That's 6 writers. But some of it's got to be for the music, right?
I think so. So music by Marcelo Zarvos. And the Wikipedia is only listing 4 screenplay by credits, but
okay.
I don't know. Maybe they missed some from IMDb.
So this movie is about K-pop. I guess you just call them K. Well, they're not really K-pop. They're demon hunters, but the way that they defend the world is through music, right? Through harmony. Hamakan, believe it, Homochan. Hamachan?
Sure. I just know that there's the thing that they the Honmoon is what they call
Honmoon. Yeah.
Their sort of their force field essentially.
Yeah. And so anyways, that they've been going around for years and years. As long as there's been demons, there's been defenders of the free world. And these little girls, they get raised up. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on the intro. But the three girls, they kind of come to fruition on being the next round, and they're gonna eventually, like, this is supposed to be the crew that sets the whole world free, right? Rids the demons. Like, this is the group that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And they're into K-pop.
They're gonna permanently lock the Honmoon.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got their little band, and we get some backstories on where they came from, and next thing you know, we're on a plane, and they find out there's demons on the plane, so we immediately get into them, fighting them. And, as we go along, the underworld, the demons, and I don't know what they call the fire guy.
Guima.
Yeah, Guima is getting tired of all the demons being slain and realizes that the Honmoon is going to, protect the whole other side of the world, and that they need to stop that. So one of the guys that he thought he got rid of, right? And it's the Saja boys. I can't remember everyone's name.
Genu. I wanted to call him Junie, but that's a different.
Genu.
It's a different Korean thing I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he comes up and says, "Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we fight fire with fire, and we will take over the K-pop element that they've monopolized, essentially."
Hit them where their power comes from, their fans.
Yes,
specifically, because the Honmoon is basically like enforced by their fans.
Yeah,
and so that helps them power up the defense against the demons.
Yeah, so they're gonna steal that from them and eventually create, keep this parallel entry point open. So. We get into that, and that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. So, spoilers for K-pop Demon Hunters.
Spoilers for K-pop Demon Hunters. If you haven't watched this movie before hearing our discussion, be sure to check it out. Fairly easy to swallow.
Yeah.
This one goes down fairly smooth. I very much appreciate this movie becoming number one on Netflix, supplanting Red Notice, which is a movie that I use almost as a representation for everything I hate about studio filmmaking.
Frank movies.
The big stars that play themselves, the lazy writing, the
easiest way to exit a conversation is ask someone if they've seen and liked Red Notice.
Yeah, right. And
like,
if the answer is yes to both, then you just turn around.
If you get the no, you stay around, because it doesn't necessarily guarantee. If someone has seen it and doesn't like it, once again, doesn't necessarily guarantee. No and no is I will hang around, and a yes and yes is a shake of the hand, and I think I'm feeling sick.
Yeah. You want to talk about movies that don't take up space in the memory banks anymore. That one is like...
The Shaggy Dog?
Red
Notice. Red Notice.
Yeah. But all that said, I do appreciate that this movie seems to have a lot of crossover in bringing awareness to people who aren't necessarily familiar with certain cultural aspects that are included in this movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this isn't going to be like a movie in which you watch in order to get a history lesson from, or like an idea of what another culture's customs are.
Right.
But it is, I think, for the better that this movie uses those in a way that I think a lot of people can relate to. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, when it comes to different cultural experiences, find that relatability is a little bit more of an accessible thing than they would think it is. And learning about those types of things, even if it's through something like this, I think can be beneficial.
In which you consume it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's a lot of different facts that people like to bring up about this movie.
Oh, interesting.
There's a whole community on Instagram and TikTok and everything talking about this specific film and like how detailed all the different cultural signifiers are, what their weapons mean,
like
the characters' backstories themselves, and like how it relates to actual K-pop groups. And I know Megan has a lot of those facts in her back pocket that she's gone all in on this movie.
Nice.
Like she has dived deep and learned. She's pretty much consumed media and content over this film that I would for like I don't know, Funny Games or I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Like it's
sure, yeah.
It's
very upbeat movies.
Or like John Wick, I guess, is a more apt comparison.
No, the other two work just fine.
Sure.
It's just funny that you rattled both those off.
Right.
I would have went Funny Games and then John Wick, not the Funny Games and then I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Right. This movie is more like John Wick in
is
that.
Another one that I really want to hop into.
Yeah. Oh boy. What are the cultural significances of depression?
Yeah.
But it is a lot like that, and not just, her enjoyment of it, but also like the lighting and the visual style of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Very like poppy, and it has to be. And I think as far as the animation goes, is very effective.
I love that. I mean, I'm like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same kind of like boxy, cartoony looking thing.
But this feels different enough in which you can tell, oh, they have a style that lets them have a simple identifier that when people see that, they go, oh, it evokes this type of movie. So if people see that style in other films, they'll be like, oh, this reminds me of K-pop Demon Hunters. Obviously, that Spider-Verse thing, like you said, is... I think that
it doesn't matter.
The heir apparent to that.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I've really come to like these, Pixar, when Pixar was really popping, very bubbly, very bright, right? And you could always tell a Pixar... A
lot of primary colors, yeah.
Well, and you could always tell a Pixar movie against like a Disney movie, like if you had our DreamWorks, right? Like Shrek comes out, it looks very digital. Right, and Pixar had a certain almost like a water.
There's like a painterly quality to it. A bit. Yeah,
right. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I really like that the style of these movies that are coming out, these new animation movies that are very. There's another movie on Netflix, and I'm drawing a blank on what the name of it is, but it's the same kind of style. Right, and I really enjoy these ones where it's very. It's almost for ADHD.
Oh, are you talking about Mitchell's versus the Machines?
Not necessarily, but that's another one.
Yeah.
It's a medieval gal that can turn it. She can shapeshift.
Interesting. I feel like I kind of know what you're talking about.
Once you get going, I'll try to see if I can find it.
The RAM in the memory banks, man.
I'm in the same boat. Like I watched it with Preston and my nephew, and I was like, I've heard this is like a good kids movie, and I put it on, and I'm into it, and they were like running around. So anyways, but like the style of this thing, I think it's very, I like where animation's going, and they can make this poppy. They can also mix and match these colors, and there's a certain element to it that makes it distinguished, but doesn't necessarily feel too digital.
Yes. It also does a good job of meshing those different styles in terms of cultural awareness. Oh, yeah. So like you've got not only this look that people can look at and go like, oh, this reminds me of Spider-Verse, and also like the sort of comic booky action that it adopts, but it also incorporates a lot of different types of animation, like anime, into it with like the expressions and like the ways in which humor is implemented into the visual style. Yep. Especially that scene when they come across the Saja boys for the first time. There's a lot of funny quirks in this thing. There's a lot of good humor in which they're bleeding into different cultural aspects. Like this thing feels very much geared towards Americans. Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely.
But like, there's a sense of it reminds me kind of like of Sinners. Like we're not losing some of this focus from our own culture in which this is deriving, right?
Yeah,
like it's almost like we're trying to give you more education and more of a sense on what it's like over here, but also we're making this very much geared towards you.
And as someone who is a Caucasian male who lives in the United States. To me, it didn't feel patronizing or diminutive.
No.
In how it represented those cultures. It felt more as if like, oh, this is like the surface in which you can dive deeper in. And if you want to learn more about that, you can.
Is it Korean culture? Or what is...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting there...
That's what the K in K-pop stands for.
Okay.
I'm not joking. Yeah.
No, I was assuming so. I just didn't want to go into racist smack. Is it Korean? No, it's actually Japanese.
I don't think you need to worry about going into racist smack mode.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Western Hemisphere. Or Eastern Hemisphere. No.
Gotta censor that. Kid friendly.
Yeah.
No, not again.
No, I was actually laughing because I was like, I feel like this is almost being diminutive or disrespectful to the Korean aspect of it. I was like, this feels so much more American than it does of that culture. But
I think there's
what you're highlighting.
There's a degree of and this is to also the United States involvement is that South Korea specifically is very westernized, like as a culture.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have their own uniformity, their own sense of like cultural identity, but it is more leaning towards Western sensibilities than it is, I think, a lot of like sort of ancient, Chinese, Vietnamese.
I wasn't going that far back, but I was just, it always makes me curious, because like when you're watching something through an American lens, right? Unless it's funny games, there's always like a gear towards we have to make this more for American audiences, and they like a certain type of movie, right? Or that like you can't be over the top with your cultural references because once they lose it, they're out.
Well, I think that this specifically being targeted towards kids too lends a little bit to that of like, oh, we have to make this accessible in a way that feels like it's paying homage to something rather than being patronizing towards this thing.
Right. Or trying to beat you over the head with this is how we view things or what we're trying to put across to you,
Yeah.
And I thought they did a great job, and it sounds like there's a lot of things there's a lot of tidbits in here and pieces of trivia that you can pick up on or things that you can glean on.
Yeah, I think so. Moving into the story element of this, I think it's a pretty effective story. I think I appreciate the most about this movie in that I really enjoy how sincere it feels.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like it is trying to backpedal on how characters feel or how the emotions of something sort of take hold in a scene. There seems to be genuine passion and emotionality in the character writing specifically. And I enjoy when a movie does that, even if it is the result of a story that is simplified. This is a movie for kids, at least for a younger audience. But I think that it says a lot that people like you and me can watch it and enjoy it while recognizing, we're not going to get anything too emotionally complicated or like heady for us as moviegoers.
Well, sometimes when you're dealing with those like high concept emotions, I mean, you don't really need to. You just got to make sure that there's passion behind it and that
there's a sincerity.
You believe the characters, right? Like, I mean, this thing all unfolding. I must have missed the point in which the main character, half demon, half I don't know what the Honmoon. I don't know what they call the demon hunters.
So they are just called, their specific iteration is called Huntrix. Let me see if...
Huntrix, yeah. But I don't know if they had
I think they're just called demon hunters.
Okay.
They're just a lineage of a trio that every generation pops up and helps defend against the demons.
Yeah. And so I must have missed or didn't catch that, at birth she was like half demon. And it also felt like you kind of like, it's very... transparent, that like once you start feeling maybe guilt or sin or ashamed or those negative emotions, you become more of a demon. Like I kind of felt like over the head with it, but like I really did enjoy her arc and what she was struggling with and what she was trying to identify with and come to terms with. But like those are like those types of emotions, like you don't need to get too in depth with it. Like I missed the backstory on her and like what they highlighted. And by the end of it, I was totally like, oh my God, like, come on, let's go,
Right. She's the one that you can grab onto the most. She has the most screen time and the most weight narratively.
Well, she's conflicted. I mean, the other two are not conflicted. I mean, they have their own.
They have their own things.
Problems,
and we can talk about how sort of underdeveloped that is as a story element. But as far as the main narrative hook of her reconciling with her own biology, right? Something that she cannot help.
Yeah.
I do enjoy how long it takes for that reveal for her friends to find out that, like,
did they ever mention at the beginning that she was like that, or is that something that was all?
They show it in the Golden sequence when they're first singing Golden, and it's going through the montage.
Yes,
and it cuts to a scene of the two of them, Zoe and oh God, what's the other one's name? Megan's gonna yell at me right now. Mira.
Yes.
When Zoe and Mira are in the dressing room and they're like kind of taking selfies or whatever, having fun. And then it cuts to Rumi's own private dressing room where she's talking about her scars and like how she has to hide them away.
Yes.
That's the scene in which you get the indication. Oh yeah, she's herself part demon.
Yeah.
Because you find out that her mother and her dad, her mother was human, her father was a demon.
Yep.
I'm trying to be as PG as possible about this. Kid-friendly episode.
POS? Okay.
And that is where a lot of what I appreciate about this movie is like her dealing with that as something that she can't control.
Yeah.
Something that is just inherently a part of her, and how that reflects the narrative push, how that is something that she has to reconcile with, how that's something that her friends have to reconcile with. And it's something that you see in a lot of these types of movies, especially like kids movies, where they hold a secret and they their friends or their family find out, and then they're like, no, it's not what you think. And then their family is more mad at them that they were dishonest rather than the thing that they are.
Yep. Being
And
up front.
Right. And it's a very simple, straightforward story element that has been in multiple different versions of kids' stories before. But I still think it's effective. I think,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
They don't, like you mentioned, they don't really, it's not a hard reveal at the beginning. It's hinted to. Mm-hmm. So you almost feel as an audience member, you're also unsure while you may have the notion that there's something going on. I was not, because it's the second time, and I knew that she was a demon because I had seen it before, half of it. Right. And I'm watching this and I completely forgot until she opened back up. I go, I missed it again.
Time for a third go around, Mac.
Yeah. So I think it's really effective because it's nice when the reveal comes and you can almost it was alluded to that, but wasn't quite sure.
Right. And I think the build-up works. I think her relationship with Ginu works for the most part. Let's get into the parts of this movie that I wish there was a little bit more of a presence of.
Okay.
And there's rumors swirling around online that, there was a 3-hour version of this movie, which I looked it up and there wasn't. There were more songs that were cut. Yeah. That they didn't include, and people looked at that and thought, more songs equals more movie. And that's where
it does.
It kind of does, but not 3 hours.
Story.
Not a Martin Scorsese silence length of a feature film. But it does, to me, feel like there are elements of this movie that would have benefited from more exploration. Mm-hmm. Like Zoe and Mira's backstories, their whole personality and dynamic within the group, and how they come to terms with themselves, sort of in the way that
Rumi
does, but it's a little bit more minorly present. Like it's barely a thing that pops up every once in a while, where Mira is someone who her family, she's the black sheep. She's someone who was trying to figure out how to fit in, and then
I think you'd have a hard time juggling that.
I think there is a way to maybe do it without it feeling like, and I don't want to say it's an afterthought, but it does feel like there was more to be had there that we just don't get.
I do agree, because they set up, they gave a little bit on the backstory at the beginning with the 3 characters.
So little bit, and they go through it so quick.
Yeah, it was I was like, I like the points that they hit here, because I don't need to, because once again, I kind of knew some of the points that they were going to get to, right?
Yeah.
So you see how they set it up now, and I know where it's leading to. I can go, oh, okay, and I did appreciate that, but that's only because I knew of where it was going. Mm-hmm. But I do think it may become a little bit more diluted if we go through all 3 arcs or characters kind of finding that their balance, right?
I think, there's always a risk to introducing too many elements into a story that is meant to be aimed at kids and supposed to be at least simple to a point.
Yeah.
I do think that there is room there for it to be explored. And I mean, they're probably going to in the sequel. I mean, there's absolutely no way they don't make a follow-up to this because of how successful it was. Oops. Kid friendly. Kid friendly. Had to censor myself. K-pop. But it does, I don't know. It's something that I am just aware of when I watch it. And also, too, the relationship that Rumi has with Jinu, I think is well executed. It does feel like there is a little bit more there that is not included as far as like a romantic angle, because they have a whole song about how every time I'm with you, why does it feel right? And how come I can always tell you anything? And there is that heavy implication of like a romantic undertone that never feels like it's fully, come to fruition or rewarded. Like, they never kiss. They allude to being like boyfriend and girlfriend when they have the whole gag with the lady handing out the bracelets and everything. But I guess that's just something that maybe they felt was a little too heavy-handed. I don't know.
I think the self-sacrifice at the end is enough to show that that there's a bond.
Sure, but even that feels very quick. I mean, my main criticism overall that ties in all of my other minor criticisms of this movie is that everything just trucks along so fast at like such a breakneck pace that it never really feels like there's a ton of time to live in a certain scene.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why I say for ADHD. I mean, this thing is like boom, 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 boom. It's just the style that they're going with how many cut shots that they have and some of the anime going on. It's like we got to constantly have, that PowerPoint presentation popping.
Yeah, there's this energy that we have to maintain, which I think they do a decent job of.
I thought it was... I didn't, the romantic element of it, like I totally bought in, and I was thinking like, all right, like in a different world, or if they're not, like these two are definitely together, but like you have the sense of the self-sacrifice at the end and coming to terms with, the past, and like that's, I think, what they were aiming at hitting you over the head with. And some of these characters, maybe as we've taken them at flesh value of being real people, I think they were obviously representations of certain emotions or coming past guilt, where it's kind of, it's an amalgamation, right, of these different sort of emotions kind of being portrayed out through these characters. So like in a very more like real worldly sense, I would agree 100% that you'd probably want to see a lot more. But this whole movie felt kind of like a metaphor to me. So that's why I was completely cool with
100%.
Like I was completely cool with like how they approached that.
Yeah, I think you can take Rumi's struggle specifically and transpose a lot of meaning into it for either your own life or like how it represents other people. Mm-hmm. You can look at it and think, oh, how does this represent people who are in the closet? Or how does this represent people who are, struggling with their own identity, whether or not it's like their interests or like who they are as a person or like who they want to be.
Shame and guilt.
Yeah.
Like anything that you've ever had, or if there's something, and that's that secret that you hold that weighs on your chest. And that's, Jinu. His was turning his back on his family. I mean, but yeah, supplant anything in there, right?
Yeah. And you do with the other side characters with Zoe and Mira, you do get like a sense of them coming to terms with who they are at the end, and like it all symbolizes like learning that your weaknesses don't have to define who you are, and that what you think is a weakness might actually be a strength. And I think that overall, as a lesson, is healthy and productive.
Yeah.
But man, this movie does just like ba-boom, 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 just barrel through. It's such a pace.
It is insane. I mean, that's kind of where Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was too.
Right.
I think they do let you hang on moments a little longer though, but I think that is a 2-hour film versus a 140 or hour 40.
I was just gonna say Spider-Verse is a hearty chunk of cinema compared to this, which isn't, it's not a short film by any means, but it's
100 minutes. I mean, It's effective. The pacing's good.
It's quick, but it's got some meat on the bone.
Yes, they do. I think that when you can get that writing, that style in there with the writing and a good story in 100 minutes, like, while you are barreling, for it to stick and to be able to pick up on certain themes, like, makes it effective.
And I think the voice acting helps a lot with that too.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you got a big budget animated movie. This has reportedly a budget of over like 100 million, which is, even for an animated movie, that's a little crazy.
Going into freaking production.
Right. Even when you have that, you want to make sure, like, we have all our ducks in a row, and like all the voice performances are up to snuff. And in my opinion, they were.
It was great. Yeah.
I enjoyed the voice acting. I enjoyed the song performances. So what was your standout track? What was a track that you thought was the best?
The very ending. The very ending I thought was very.
This is what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like. It was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
It's finally just coming out and saying what you want to say. And there was a lot of. Just the lyrics themselves are pretty. They were pretty uplifting, inspiring. With a lot of those songs, like if they are geared towards what's happening in the film. I did like the second takedown.
Yeah.
As they played off on, hey, we're taking you down now.
Yeah.
Takedown was fun. And then the Sasha Boys song, Idol, and the very first one that they
Soda
sang.
Pop?
Soda Pop,
My little soda pop.
Yep.
My little soda pop.
Like, I'm a sucker for poppy songs too, but I did enjoy those. I don't know if any one of them are gonna like this is what I sound like.
This is what it sounds like.
This is what it sounds like will probably be the one that sticks with me the most. But like I would imagine the two of the Sasha Boys songs, I'd probably go, both of those I like those.
So I guess 4 of the tracks from the soundtrack were in the top 10 for the Billboard Hot 100, which is the first time that that's ever happened for a single like soundtrack for a movie.
They're freaking pop songs.
Right. Well, not only that, they are K-pop songs.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other element of this that we haven't even begun to touch the surface of.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So how familiar are you with K-pop as a music genre, art form, culture, what have you?
Zero.
Had you even heard about it before?
I knew about K-pop. There's
Okay.
there's there's a popular band, or was a popular band.
BTS? Was that it? Because that's the only one that I knew of.
Is that
before.
recent? Like within the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I knew about.
Okay.
And they started getting onto the American circuit. Maybe that's why they started popping up a little bit. I don't know.
A lot of Western influence.
Yeah, I might know one. I could not. If you had a gun to my head, I'd not be able to name one song. But if I heard it, I might
couldn't
be able
either.
to guess it. But that's like the first time I was like, "Oh, K-pop!" Like, well, and for them to infiltrate, American audiences, like I'm like, all right, they've got to be doing something right.
There was one song that was playing, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
There was one song that was playing somewhere in a public setting that I heard that I was like, okay, I've heard this song around before. And then I found out that it was a BTS song. I'm like, oh, this is from them. I didn't know that they had such a, because I don't know if it's just like my cultural blindness. I just assumed that all their songs were sung in Korean, but
yeah, that's what I would have. That's what I'm alluding to. Is that's what I would have assumed.
Right, and then you find out like no, they are specifically targeted towards Western English speaking demographics a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and that's because art in itself has such an influence over the world from a Western perspective. You've got like Hollywood, television, the music industry, and how powerful that is over the world just purely from an American sense.
Yes.
Like how culturally ubiquitous a lot of these like American art pieces are.
Yeah.
I think that's almost like them kind of, and I stop me if I'm sounding way too Caucasian. Maybe it's
how am I going to stop you?
How am
I will be nodding
you?
my head, going, yes, my thoughts exactly.
Oh yeah, you're right, brother. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's a lot of them taking a cultural identity and sort of taking the power back in that way of like, oh, we're going to use this genre of music that we know is popular in this Western sense and kind of like make it our own.
That's what I was talking about with like Sinners.
Yeah.
Like that's where it kind of feels like there's a little bit of like assimilation there, but not necessarily completely losing your own identity. Like I really like taking some of your own cultural identity and bleeding it into what others know. It's not necessarily to assimilate, but I think it makes it a little bit more easy to swallow, you know?
Well,
like,
it's not, and it's not like you're betraying your sense of self or like your own culture. It's just merely adopting this thing in order to use it as a proponent for yourself.
It's a platform, right? Like you're just, that's why like you're not going to go in there and go, we have to do this and we're doing that. And this is how, you know, like it's mostly like, hey, we see what you guys are doing. We like it. This is how we do things. We're gonna kind of make a hodgepodge of it, you know. And I would imagine that's kind of like what's going on. So I don't want to say it's taking it back or adopting it. It's more of like just saying, hey, you guys use it this way. We like to use it this way. There's no reason why we can't get along, you know, having both, right?
Yeah. So, and in the end, if the end product is art that people enjoy, then it's never a bad thing.
No, I mean, I think this speaks for itself. That it sounds like this is, and I enjoy, you know, some cultural differences coming in, or at least a lack of understanding. I don't want to call it ignorant, you know, or dismissive, but more so of just, you know, not understanding.
Yeah,
and then you're put it in a way that's very palatable, right? And not to say that it wouldn't be differently, but it might not grab my attention if done on a holistic level of being just in that one culture, you know. I think that when you're able to bleed it in a little bit and you're able to pull some things from it, it raises more questions too. I mean, obviously, it sounds like Megan's like went all into it, and so like
when I say she went hog wild, I mean it.
You know, like it grabs your attention. Like I want to know more about this, and I think that's a great launching point.
And I think it does, begin and end with the songs themselves and how earwormy they are. I mean, they are catchy. Like probably my favorite track is the one you listed. This Is What It Sounds Like. Also, Soda Pop is just forever stuck in my head. You want to talk about like memory banks, use of RAM? It is found a hearty nook and cranny.
Soda Pop versus I Am Ken.
We'll say we need to let the same amount of time pass.
Oh God, I'm not bringing this up in 2 years.
You say that now. Sometimes time will surprise you on the Neon Crew podcast. Songs good, movie good. That's
very American of you.
Yeah, thank you. No, there's one other, I think, story beat that is maybe something I can bump up against a little bit, and I want to see if you agree.
Okay.
The inclusion of Celine in the story.
Oh, yeah.
So Rumi has a mother figure because her mother had passed away, and Celine was a former member of like the last group of demon hunters that she had, decided to take it upon herself to raise Rumi, and like kind of built the new K-pop group around her. And they say this all in the beginning of the movie, but
we also said spoilers, so
we did. Celine is the one who tells Rumi, you need to hide your marks, your scars, and you can't show them until we lock the Honmoon in. And this obviously creates a conflict inside Rumi. Rumi at the end of the movie, when she is kind of losing control of herself, giving into all the negativity that she feels about herself and like demon hunting in general, confronts Celine at the tree, and Celine very sheepishly admits that, I tried my best to raise you and love you. And she's like, what do you mean you tried? Like there's this apprehension on her part. And Celine kind of confronts her about this and has a moment of like, well, if the Honmoon is made like this, then I don't know if it's worth keeping, and then disappears. And then you never really see Celine again. Like
it was Rumi that said that.
I know it was Rumi that said that. And Rumi says it and then disappears and leaves Celine there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it feels like a door that was left open that I don't know if it's something they'll close in the next movie, but Celine was just kind of a thread that, to me, was left hanging a little bit. Especially when you have a character that has such narrative importance to Rumi's character. Not necessarily her physical presence, because she's barely in the movie, but just someone who has so much weight behind that as a conflict. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Because to me, that's something that's a little left unexplored.
I think it's Pixar movie called Turning Red. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
If not, I've watched the trailer for it.
So there's one of the themes on there that they really tie in is the generational, maybe not trauma, and it could be trauma, that mothers have on their daughters in sort of like an Eastern civilization sense.
Yeah, tiger moms.
Yeah, right. And in this one,
to put it very bluntly and maybe dismissively, but.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that's overlooked that you don't really think about. But each culture, in different parts of the world, I mean, they're all going to have their different styles of how they raise their kids, right? And this one looks at, like you mentioned, tiger moms, and being that these moms put a lot of stress on their offspring, right? And that they're always demanding, and it's always what you find out is your identity gets attached more so to your mom and what you're trying to do for her to gain her. With the easiest way said, it's just love, right?
Love and approval, and
yeah, right. That you lose the sense of your own identity. So, I looked at Celine as being one of those tiger moms, and that in the sense of, hey, between reputation and status, and what your role in society is, you're not supposed to show those demons, those scars, those what you are. And I think what it was with Rumi was that overcoming and discovering her own identity and her own voice and stepping up and saying, I am my own person. I don't need to keep this hidden because that's what you want me to do. So almost with like Celine being there, I didn't mind it. She did have a very critical importance, but I think it was more of like that manifestation of it being her mom, essentially, Mm-hmm. And the apprehension of like, I tried to love you, I tried to do this, one, and it could be even with mothers of that kind of Eastern civilization with their daughters, maybe they have a hard time connecting because their own mothers had a hard time connecting. So I think that one was like a little bit more of like a touch and go theme, and I didn't mind it because I immediately started thinking of Turning Red. Yeah. And I immediately started thinking of like, oh, this is kind of like, this is that figure in her life that's always held her down, always looking to gain her approval. And that's why she never stepped out. And now that she's saying, hey, I'm going to figure this out on my own, she's discovering her own identity. She's coming to acceptance and to terms with who she is, and that she isn't defined by the scars that she has.
And I think there's also something that you could maybe sort of infer, maybe not necessarily from the movie, but just on your own, of like Rumi and her group, headed by Celine, are doing their best to fight the demons and also perform as a music group, and they're at the top of their game. They're always killing it. But as soon as they experience a modicum of failure or, shortcoming or whatever, then it all sort of falls apart. It's this thing that you can kind of read into of like, oh, if you're the daughter of this type of parental figure who has these high levels of expectations,
yes,
then as long as you keep up those high levels of expectations, everything will be fine to neutral. But as soon as you make like one little wrong move, it all comes crashing down.
Yeah.
But I think that it can also be applied to, and we talked a little bit about it before we recorded, of fan culture towards music groups and acts, and how they have this idea of a parasocial relationship. There's this idea that, everything is perfect, and as long as you are keeping up with my image of you, then everything is fine. You don't have anything to worry about. But as soon as something goes wrong a little bit, it's like we're going to turn our backs on you and move on to something else.
Yes.
And that's where the Saja Boys come in. They take advantage of that as an idea. We're going to hit them where it hurts. We're going to hit their fans.
That's what I'm saying about like a toxic relationship.
Right.
Right.
And I think that there is a mirror there. I think it's just something that you kind of have to discover yourself when you watch the movie. But again, that's to this movie's credit. You can dig into it, and it's not necessarily something that might not be on the forefront of what your experience is. Maybe you just like the songs. Maybe you just like the animation, the action, the whole mood of the movie.
I think it's a very healthy kids movie, and there's more to read into, and there's also I liked Rumi stepping out on her own. I was very curious it's so funny because I'd seen this part too, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's gonna do next. And as soon as she steps up, I was like in my chair on the edge of my seat, being like, "Go, girl, you go, girl,
Right?
Like, let's go," And
Yeah.
I really appreciate. I mean, from like I'm saying, from an 8-year-old's perspective, you can watch that and be like, all right, this is empowering, especially even for a young female, right? But
For
then
sure.
like for older audiences, like there's more to read into with this thing that you can. Once again, I mean, this thing has a lot of different themes going on with it, but they all blend so well together. And the story with the breakneck speed, I don't really fault it, and I do think that there are missteps with it. Like, don't get me wrong, but
I think that there's room to have something like that at least like be expended upon, or like spend a little more time in. The final confrontation, for example, when she comes in and they sing the song, and it's a great song.
Yep.
And it's a moment that like does give you goosebumps. I think it would benefit from just being a little bit longer, like having a confrontation like that be so, totemic, and this is where the climax of the movie is. This is where all the stakes are. This is where all the chips are pushed in. To have that be like a 4-minute thing, whatever the length of the song is, and then it just kind of ends, and then the movie's like, oh, they're all friends now again, and they're all in the bathhouse, and everything's good. It's fine. It's just it's something that I wish we spent a little bit more time here.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too, because I guess you bumped up this a little bit more than I did.
I think a little bit. Not to say I didn't like
no,
this.
that's
like this
I
movie.
think you got very small qualms with it. Like, at the end of the day, you're not going to sit there and go like, "Oh, bless it!" Like, I'm never watching it again because of this. I like I said, I felt like this was more of a manifestation of emotional sentiment and overcoming some of these things. Like, I mean, to me, at the end of the day, like, it does touch on the themes of like parasocial relationships, what the K-pop culture means to different fan groups or in different societies.
Stan culture.
Like, you got some of these relationships that they look at, but like, it just felt like a manifestation of all these things within the characters and what they're going through, that the final sequence, none of the demon battles were ever like, I want to watch that. Like, it was almost like they were the filler, right? Like, hey, here's our sequence into the next. And it's more of this like thought process or building up on these relationships and what these characters are going through, that like the battle sequence in themselves are almost just for the kids. Mm-hmm. And so like when that ending sequence happened, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I didn't even think once about it. I was so invested with what she was talking about with her lyrics and how she was overcoming her past problems. It was almost like, I wonder, she's getting in there, she's got the sword going on, and I was like, oh my God, how did she get past this? And then the guy steps in, I was like, oh my God,
So, fun fact about their weapons, and I know this is a fact that Megan would have wanted me to share, so I'm going to share it.
You have to.
So their weapons aren't necessarily battle-specific weapons. They are inspired by real ceremonial weapons from Korean culture, specifically like Mudang culture.
Okay.
That had more of a spiritual significance rather than, for defensive purposes or practicality. The only one that kind of does is Mira's weapon, which is the longer, handled one with the blade at the end.
Yeah.
But that's a fun fact that I learned.
Which kind of goes into some of this thing was just utilizing these battling of the demons as a way of just perpetuating the story.
Yeah. And, obviously, there are people who talk about, there's this movie. I guess there's some audience members who watch this movie and were like, oh, this is anti-Christian because it's about demons and learning to accept that you're a demon and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's taking certain Western themes of religion and Christianity and incorporating it in a way that makes it digestible, understandable, makes it in a way that's interesting, fresh, fun. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's...
Aren't vampire, horror movies, all of those horror movies and anti-Christian movies?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Texas Chainsaw Massacre is about abortion or something.
I mean, I understand having your religious beliefs. It's Bible thumping that just sometimes I get hit over the head with it. I'm like, why? why it's
not everything needs to be a anti-religious movie or religious movie just because of how you feel about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Is my personal stance
I
towards
would
that.
almost guarantee you could pick any movie and say this is besides Christian movies.
Big Fat Liar, anti-Christian.
Yeah.
You're telling me that guy was blue?
Yeah.
I don't believe it. He must be a demon.
Like I can't. Yeah. Just some of the time. No. This is. Anyways.
Speaking of blue.
Yeah.
Did you like the tiger and the bird?
I love that tiger.
Tiger's fun. I guess it is. So it's inspired by a certain form of artwork. Let me see if I can find it. It is specifically based on minhwa, a style of Korean folk art popular during the Joseon period.
This movie was heavily influenced by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Probably a decent amount because it was a Sony production.
Yeah, and well, not necessarily just with the production value, but Into the Spider-Verse, that director talked about a lot of cultural significance with what he was incorporating into the film, with like the graffiti, the music choices. Like there was a lot of different things that I remember him specifically saying, like this movie was geared towards like, an urban culture, but also bringing it into something that could be not normalized, but spread across the nation, right? Reaching different geographies while, obviously preaching on some of the cultural relevance that it had on him as a young man. And this movie sounded the same way. Like that was artistically done, right? They did that, but that was a choice to bring this in.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And I guess that form of artwork was a little bit later in that period more synonymous with satirization or just like portraying it as a joke. And that's why those characters are a little more silly.
Yeah. I love the plant pot, the potted plant.
Oh yeah, it's a fun moment. The bird with the hat and how Genu explains the hat was actually for the tiger, but the bird kept taking it.
Yeah.
Very Dinkelhoff-y, but I feel like most animated kids movies just have a Dinkelhoff included in them.
I will say too, like I watched it, I was like, I can't remember if the bird or the tiger are going to do bad things or not. Like it is a little bit of a Dinkelhoff, but it's not necessarily.
The tiger arguably does something good. He brings the bracelet back to Genu.
Yeah.
When they're about to have their final show in order to steal everybody's soul.
Yeah.
Which is funny that you get the concert at the end when they're like, "Oh, we know you're sad about Huntrix breaking up, but come to this place and we'll have a send-off concert at midnight."
Yeah.
And people are walking in and there's like no hiding the fact that they're demons anymore. They're just like full showing their butt. Kid episode, friendly episode.
Yeah.
It is. They're fully showing what they're all about. They are in the demon garb. They've got the scars on their face. They're floating in midair, teleporting to different spots in the arena. Some guy walks in with a Guima shirt, and it's like, how did he get this? Did they just have Guima merch?
Yeah.
Does he have like a friggin' what's that website where you get the custom shirts?
Etsy.
Custom Ink.
Oh, Custom Ink. Yeah.
Does he have a Custom Ink profile?
No, I mean so when that happened, I was a little confused. I'm like, I don't know if this is K-pop, like being more self-referential, knowing the impact that they have on people. But, because it
absolutely is.
Like the toxicity that's behind it, or
it's the idea that you're putting so much emotion and energy into your feelings towards this group, and this idea of this parasocial relationship, or the fact that you think you know these people, that you are basically selling your soul to this as an idea.
That's the feeling I had. I was like, but I also was going like, is this pro or con? Like, are we pro for this or anti K-pop? Like I can't.
It's shining a light on like one of the more negative aspects of that as a art form, but again, that's more like fan-based culture than it is the actual music.
No. That's what I get, and but I do appreciate it that they're willing to look in the mirror and say, we know what this can generate. This is like, there needs to be a healthy balance within your fandom for us, but also like, we cannot be a representation of who you are.
And they're also playing with the idea of like, because in the Bible they mention, if you worship a golden idol, that is one of the most severe forms of sin, and they are literally saying, I am your idol, worship us.
Yes. Okay. That may Oh, maybe they are throwing jabs. I don't know.
I think there's some tongue in cheek, at least self-referential awareness going on.
Yeah, yeah. And then hey, listen, to me at the end of the day, I mean, it you know, the ones that don't like it are the ones saying that this thing is like completely, you know, this is anti-religious. Like at some point you kind of got to look and go, all right, that makes sense. Maybe a step back would do good, you know?
Yeah.
No matter what it comes to.
Touch some grass is what we're saying.
Oh my God. Yes. I know some people that are freaking nuts.
Speaking of nuts, let's get into our ratings.
Oh, how nuts our rating is are?
I don't think they're going to be too nuts. Probably not. I go first.
You do.
So this is a very high 7 out of 10.
7
out of 10.
Wow.
I enjoy this movie quite a bit. It is one in which it's a rare case in which I want to live in something more, and I feel like that is a point of criticism for me. Is like, I wish there was more of this thing that I want more details. I want more thoroughness when it comes to some of the characters' stories or like how they tie in together, the themes in which they coalesce at the end. The breakneck pace of this movie, I think, for the most part, is beneficial, but I think leaves a little bit to be desired as far as like certain beats that I personally want it to hit.
Yeah.
But it's hitting all the right effectiveness. It's got the music, it's got the animation, it's got the voice acting, it's got the tone. And more importantly, it's got a pretty straightforward theme that you can dig more into if you want, but for something that's aimed towards a younger audience, I think works very well. So it's a high 7 for me. Closer to an 8 for sure than a 6.
Nice. Good. Yeah. Hard to sit here and just rate it. I gave it its rating as I pulled it up to read up the notes on it. This thing goes down smooth. It's easy to watch. It's got good humor intertwined into it. The action sequences are fun, yet it's not over the head for me. I liked on some of the deeper themes that it was touching on. I also appreciate, just like little tidbits here and there with it. I did not bump up against it as much as you did. I think maybe just taking it in the light that it is a kid's movie, but I definitely feel like as like an adult watching it, like there's more to take away than what a kid would take away, and I think and we'll talk about it with the next one. What showcases a good kids movie,
yes.
And I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, kind of these things almost feel very, very running on the same parallel. Yeah, very easy to watch. So I'm not going to keep going on about it. I did enjoy it. I've seen it now 2.5 times or 1.5 times.
Yeah, this is my second time watching it.
Been the third iteration of me seeing it in some capacity, not all the way through. However, this time was all the way through. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I think honestly, like if it was,
that's a golden rating,
dude. If it hit the weekend, I was like, I need something to throw on and kind of keep my attention going. Like I could easily throw this on and just let it run.
Yeah,
and still probably enjoy it.
I will say, I do wish I had been able to watch it in a theater. I don't know if it's playing near us as like a sing along, because I know they're doing like those sing along showings.
I don't know if I did. Yeah. Maybe that's where we're different.
I think as a theater experience, this would be fun with like the colors and the soundtrack and like the sound design and everything would be. I think it'd be immersive. I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah, I could see it. I have such a hard time like eliminating the environment in which I watched it.
Yeah. Well, you like to watch movies at either 9:30 p.m. or 10 a.m.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
No, it's either wake up or right before I go to bed, throw it on. But my theater going experiences, I like more of the slow burn ones in theaters. Because if I put that in my house, I cannot. You can't keep up with everything else going on, right? Yeah. But like, I feel so much more into a movie. Whereas with this one, it's so ADD and so. It's like, all right, if I have to turn my attention away, I can pop right back in.
Yeah, and I think that's something that this movie kind of has going for it as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies that have something going for them.
All right, that's the end of the episode.
Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 104. I think we're just not going to do a movie ever again. Yeah. Nope. Oh, God. We got to backtrack. We have my recommendation of The Shaggy Dog. 2006, The Shaggy Dog. which I have to specify because there are other versions of the movie. This is based on I guess this is technically a reboot of the 1959 film, also called The Shaggy Dog, and its 1976 sequel, The Shaggy DA. I don't normally see a sequel like... We get Lego sequels. You know, we get sequels like 30 years after, like Top Gun Maverick or Blade Runner 2049.
I just, like I said, reboot.
And then you get sequels like The Shaggy DA, which are like, it's like 15, 17 years after the original. It's like... That's a weird gap in time, but okay.
Are you saying the Shaggy DA as like a term of endearment or a
no?
Way
It's
of
literally
this?
It's called the Shaggy DA.
Oh God!
Is it the movie's actual title? I'm not even joking. Based loosely on the 1923 novel *The Hound of Florence* by Felix Salten. Didn't even know that was a book that this is based on, but apparently everything is adapted from some form of literature.
When did that book come out? You said 1940?
1923.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, around the Great Depression? No, actually, no. It would be during the, economic boom period. Before everybody decided to spend all their money and
you
go
could
broke.
see, where the world was going.
Yeah. It was going to the dogs.
Yeah.
Woof. So this movie stars Tim Allen as, let me get the cast list, Dave Douglas / the Shaggy Dog, who is a family man. He's a lawyer. He is the not prosecuting attorney. He's like, I guess he is the prosecuting attorney against this activist who had allegedly set fire to this lab that experiments on animals.
Yeah, he's in line. To move up to that DA spot.
Right. He's got a prosperous opportunity on the horizon to become the DA. Shaggy DA. And he all of a sudden happens upon this dog. Well, his daughter rescues this dog ostensibly from this lab and brings it home, and Tim Allen's character is very like, I'm a busy family man. I don't have time to learn about my kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Comes home, this dog's there. Dog bites him. He suddenly finds out that he's starting to show symptoms that are, barking up the wrong tree, so to speak. And he finds that he has become a dog. He is the Shaggy Dog, Mac. The Shaggy Dog. Even though there are 2 Shaggy Dogs in this movie. At one point, I was wondering if we were going to get a third, but that's for later in the storyline. So yeah, I guess spoilers for The Shaggy Dog, 2006.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, it's up to you.
Yep, that's a great point.
So I recommended this movie because I had felt that we were... I think...
Too stale is what you said. Stale.
We were just beating a dead horse.
Yeah, watching too many good movies.
It wasn't that I thought we were watching too many good movies. It's that I thought we should remind ourselves of why movies are good.
Yes.
Why there are pieces of art out there that we can appreciate that are up to a high standard. And I thought to myself, if I recommend this movie, which I know is going to be dog shit, and I'm gonna censor myself.
Yeah.
When I say that.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be back into the days of like, okay, we're gonna watch this, balance it out a little bit, remind us of why good movies are good and how bad movies can be just a display of everything wrong with Hollywood, filmmaking industry, whatever you want to call it. This was kind of an interesting experiment that will leave my brain in 2 days. And it's that thing of we were talking about earlier of how much RAM space we have. This movie felt like it left the storage spaces of my brain almost as soon as I turned it off. Like, I was struggling to find a right quote. I couldn't pull one from memory exactly, except for one of the ones that is arguably well known in a different movie, but we can get to that. It's just I don't know. What did we learn? What did we learn, McLean?
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know if we learned anything.
I laughed. So I was, I wake up from my nap, feeling a little bit better, kind of groggy, and I'm like, oh, I was like, well, I got to watch this movie. I was like, this is a good time to do it because I probably won't have to think. It'll just be on. If it's entertaining, I can at least get into it, you know?
So you hadn't seen this movie before?
No, I hadn't. And what was funny is I get up and I'm like, oh, and, you know, my wife goes, what's wrong? And I'm like, I got to watch this film. Oh, what movie? I was like, no, it's the Shaggy Dog. She goes, oh my God, why are you watching that? And I looked at her and I go, you've seen this? And she's like, yeah, it's a Disney kids movie from like 2006. You know, it's like right up my alley. And I laughed. I go, oh my God, this might be like one of the first that I've had to watch a movie that I have not seen that you've seen before me. Mm-hmm. And then she looked at me and she goes, yeah, why are you watching that? And I
should have told you right there.
Oh no, I knew. I was like, so you didn't like this? She goes, well, I mean, it's, you know, I was a kid when I watched it, so like I remember it. I was, you know, okay.
See, that's the thing too, is that it's sort of similar to Jasmine's experience with this. I also watched this before, probably like once, maybe twice when I was a kid. I was like 11.
Yeah,
so it was like when I was around the age that this movie I think is aiming for, but either a little too old to really enjoy it or a little too young to like understand what it was maybe going for. I don't know. Whatever it was.
We know what it was going for.
Whatever it was, I watched this movie. I remembered that I watched it. Remembered almost nothing about the movie except that Tim Allen turns into a dog. That is pretty much the only thing. And like other sort of fragments of memories of things that happened in this movie, I wasn't even confident if it was from this or like another film where like a guy turns into a dog. Like maybe it was from Fluke or something. But the scene in which he like knocks the Scrabble board over and like is rearranging the letters, I'm like, is that from this movie or is that from like another like talking dog movie around this time period? And you know, sure enough, there are things that did kind of come back to me, like the lab with the animals and Robert Downey Jr. being in this movie, which we can talk about. But this left no impression on me as a kid. And at the time, I just consumed garbage. Was just totally happy to watch something that was, that's
what I got to look at.
This is terrible, but I'm a kid, so I guess I kind of like it. It wasn't until, I think I've said this on the podcast before, it wasn't until Spider-Man 3 that I realized, movies can be not good. And it says a lot that this one didn't really register on the radar in that sense for me. It just wasn't on any radar for me at all. Just like no presence of mind whatsoever for this.
I'm guaranteeing, so like you take a high school guy from the 90s and that saw The Island of Dr. Moreau, and you're like, hey, you remember this? And be like, what? I think I watched it.
Because
and then everything kind of comes back as you're watching, like, oh, that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, that was in here. Oh.
Because let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If I tell you, think of a movie in which it's a kid's movie in which Tim Allen turns into something weird in the mid-2000s, what would you tell me?
Well, Santa Claus was 97 or 98.
I guess, but yeah, I guess I'm thinking of like the sequels too, because like weirdly the sequels for that movie didn't come out until like much later. But yes, a year aside, you would think of the Santa Claus, or at least his involvement with the Santa Claus.
Tim Allen, I think, after watching this movie, I was like, he's the closest damn thing to the 90s dad that you could get.
100%.
And he kept that energy rolling into the 2000s.
Yeah. So this is a Disney movie. And I think this was the Santa Claus a Disney movie also. I mean, the Santa Claus show is on Disney Plus.
So
I think it was Disney.
Yeah, I'm rolling. I'm not going to, it's,
or at least like Touchstone, which was like Disney's distribution company for like R-rated PG-13 movies.
Well, the Santa Claus is PG, bro.
It was PG, but I feel like it also had some like kind of raunchy stuff in it. I mean, Santa Claus dies in that movie. Spoiler alert for the Santa Claus. It's like the first 10 minutes.
With your kids.
What? This is a kid-friendly episode, Mac.
Right.
So I pulled up Tim Allen's filmography.
Okay.
And I kind of want to touch on it a little bit.
It died when that Santa Claus died.
So you got Tropical Snow, his first movie, 1988. We don't need to touch on that. The Santa Claus, 1994. So first big movie, pretty much out of the gate. It was his third movie ever.
Yep.
And like out of the gate, smash hit. He's the lead in it. Comedy star.
Was Home
America's
Improvement
Dad.
going on?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the movie was directed by a guy who primarily directed Home Improvement episodes.
Nice.
You got Toy Story the year after.
Yep.
All right. Cemented himself as Buzz Lightyear. Toy Story 2, 1999. Galaxy Quest that same year.
Hell yeah.
So, not a kid's movie specifically, but something in which it paints him in a light that's like
Galaxy
lighter.
Quest is PG, isn't it?
Is it?
You keep going on this. I will look up because like I the whole thing with Tim Allen was his drug bust that came up, and that's kind of what hampered him with getting some leading roles. He also really did a good job typecasting himself as being this like very gentle, dad, that's always confused and getting in touch with his kids. So it's how do you market him with this and that going on?
2002, The Santa Claus 2. 2004, Christmas with the Cranks. So another like Christmas adjacent. Oh, Tim Allen is a funny dad.
Galaxy
type of
Quest
movie.
PG.
Dang.
Told
Okay.
you. Told you, dude.
That movie feels like it's PG-13, but I could be wrong.
There's only one part that I think of is when Sigourney Weaver's like half naked.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
2006, he's in Cars as a cameo as like a Buzz Lightyear car. Also in Shaggy Dog, the movie we're talking about. 2006, The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, which is when that franchise starts to curdle a little bit. It's like, this is... I think that movie was rated G. This is like, this is literally just for babies. Like only babies will watch this movie.
Yeah.
And then Zoom. Did you watch Zoom? 2006?
Tim Allen was not. I was in high school.
I feel like other than the Toy Story stuff, the last one that kind of had some heat around it because it was really successful at the box office was Wild Hogs.
Yeah. My brother actually, Sam appreciates that film.
That movie was one that I weirdly watched a lot as a kid and enjoyed, and it's like the same with Shaggy Dog.
Isn't it like Robin Williams in that?
It's John Travolta, Tim Allen, William H. Macy, and Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence, yeah.
And they're all like dads who are middle aged who have like a midlife crisis.
Yeah, it's like
who decide to get back on motorcycles.
What's the Sandler one?
Oh, I don't know.
Parent.
Grown
Ups.
Yeah, Grown Ups.
It's called Grown Ups.
Yeah, with Kevin Smith, Chris Rock.
Yeah. David Spade maybe.
David Spade, Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider not in the second one because there's a Grown Ups too, and Rob Schneider is not in it. But we're not here to talk about Rob Schneider. We're here to talk about Tim Allen.
Right.
What was your relationship with Tim? Were you like big into Home Improvement at least? Like you probably were a kid around the time that was coming out, right?
Yeah, it'd probably been what do you call those royalties? Like it probably was like street some TBS already picked it up.
Yeah,
right?
syndication.
Yeah, so it's already syndicated. So no, we did not watch because I think that one was like on TBS or we were a Fox family growing up. So like I got The Simpsons, I got Seinfeld.
Gotcha.
Malcolm in the Middle. So like probably a little bit more of what I should not have been watching at that time. Tim Allen when he hit, and he was Buzz Lightyear was cool. Like I liked the Santa Claus growing up. But like you mentioned, like he took a little bit of a hiatus and then he started coming out with stuff when I was in high school. So like to me, I was the Home Improvement guy, not even like Buzz Lightyear. Like Tim Allen's always been like a nothing burger, And I was watching this one where I was like, oh my God, like this is like he was the 90s dad. And like, he's still the 90s dad in a 2006 movie, which is maybe why it's also feels like out of touch.
Yeah, it feels like it's a movie that's backdated in time that has somehow transported itself forward into the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Using the formulas of something that would have maybe worked in that time period, but still people would have been like, yeah, I've seen this before, but sure, I'll go see this movie.
There's like you talk about like being a vessel or spineless or I'm trying to think of the word shallow, right? It's a shell of like The movie.
This feels like an imitation of a movie.
Well, I mean, not necessarily just the movie itself, but I'm talking about like, hey, we're gonna take this working class dad and we're gonna show how disconnected he is with his family, right? Like that was such a theme with like 90s films going into a little bit into the 2000s of, hey, you know, like Jingle All the Way just coming up to mind, or even Liar Liar, right? Like it's not generational trauma. It's not toxic masculinity. It's not you have to be these things. Like we're just gonna take this guy and like he has to work too much. So guess what? He's out of touch with his family.
He's literally just out of touch, Dad, and there's nothing more to it. And it's to the movie's detriment that it doesn't even try to include more to his character.
They
in
try.
That way.
They do it with the kid in football, but like
I don't know if that's them trying. I think that's them doing the bare minimum of like we're just gonna check these off the box.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a plot point, and we have to make it. He doesn't know his kid's failing these classes because he's super smart. Doesn't want to play football. So
what's the checklist? It's his family members. It's his wife.
Yep.
Who his problem with his wife is that he's not there enough. His problem with his kid is that he wants his kid to play football. His problem with his daughter is that she's a hippie and he doesn't like that.
Well, yeah, I was about to say the kid aspect with the son is more so a following in my footsteps, so I can see where that toxic masculinity, maybe not toxic masculinity, but like you're not creating your own identity.
It's more just like a misunderstanding than it is like his view of what he wants his son to be.
Right. I mean, he obviously wants the best for his kid, right? But and he thinks that this kid likes football and the kid doesn't like football, but doesn't know how to tell his dad he doesn't like football, so he does football. But all of it, it's all check boxes.
My question is why? So his son's played by Spencer Breslin, who was very present around this time.
Oh my God! Hey, he's in another.
You got the Santa Claus 2. You've got the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
You got this movie.
Yes.
So Spencer Breslin's whole thing is, I don't want to tell my dad that I don't want to play football because I'm afraid he'll be disappointed. He won't be mad. He'll just think I'm a failure as a son. Which, why would he care if his dad's not around enough to have that sense of importance of how his father views him?
Well, I think it's because it's
like if
it's
I were him, I'd be
attention.
like, my dad's not around anymore. Like he's not around ever, so why would he care if I'd play football or
They're
not?
eating breakfast. Like there's a family element there.
Sees him for 15 minutes.
I think the idea with that is I want my dad's attention, right? The only way I can get it is for his approval is to do football because that's what he cares about. So I'm going to do it so he watches me. Yeah, I don't want to do this, but if I don't do what he wants, then I lose what I'm getting just right here in this little aspect of what I got.
Here's how you solve that as like a narrative drought. Have a scene of him with his son in the backyard and he's tossing the football to his son. And there's like no pressure from Tim Allen, but they're tossing the football, and it's very clear that Tim Allen is a fan of football. He's like watching it on the TV whenever he can. Yeah. And then you get the sense of like, the son thinks that football is like an important part of my dad's life. So then I'm going to play football so I can be important so that he'll pay more attention to me. Instead, you get a scene in which Tim Allen as the dog thinks to himself, why didn't you tell me you didn't want to play football? I understand.
No, there was so it was very minuscule. But there's a scene when he's in his like work area, and it's all his high school accolades. It's got his jersey up there. It's got all these trophies or holding footballs, and he kind of references or he does like a look at it where it's very, of his own approval of I did those things, and I think the kid even talked about in one of the conversations they had is like, you've told me this story how you were a great running back. Like there's a couple things that they just throw in there. It's not ever like really expanded on, right? But like,
it feels like it's more of a like just stuff that's dropped in rather than
I mean this whole movie's dropped in.
This whole movie is dropped in.
The writing in this thing is atrocious. Like the conversations he's having with his daughter is atrocious.
It's bad. It's very clearly scripted, doesn't feel lived in, and it's so bare bones that I don't even know if you could say it's just terrible writing. It's just almost non-existent writing.
It's archetype writing.
It's archetype writing. I mean, the most writing in this movie is the jokes that Tim Allen says to himself as the dog, or like when he's acting like a dog, but he's still a human.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the only time I laughed in the sing was when he was going back and forth screaming "My Yard."
I got a kick out of when he's running on all fours. More of like an uncanny valley sense of appreciation, seeing Tim Allen in a business suit running on all fours across people's yards.
Yeah, there's when you talk about going for it, that's a going for it.
Yeah,
moment.
if you framed it in a different way with like different music, you could almost view it as like a David Lynch scene.
Let me the Sunshine song. Throw that on as he's going through.
Right, instead of Who Let the Dogs Out, which that as a cultural touchstone used so much in that time period. Right.
All right. Did Baha Men come up with the song for this movie, or was that song already out and it just was like, oh, we can throw it in here?
This song was already out because I can tell you it was in Rugrats in Paris. It was in Rat Race, a movie that came out in like the late 90s, right? Early 2000s?
Something like that, yeah.
One of Gideon's favorite movies, by the way.
Rat Race is fantastic.
It's a fun time. I have a good time every time I watch it, which is maybe once a year because it's, like I said, one of Gideon's favorites. I think Big Dog by Akon was the song that was made for this movie. I hadn't verified it, but the lyrics, I'm pretty sure were, I got bit by a dog, I turned into a dog, now I'm running around, and I'm a dog, or like something like that. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you wouldn't make this song outside of this movie.
Probably not.
So
probably not.
I would
He's probably regretting it making it in the movie.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe sweet residuals that he's not getting from Disney Plus, because this movie
sweet residuals
not on Disney Plus at all, which is very frustrating.
Yeah. I like when companies come up with movies and then they go, you know what? We're just going to act like we didn't make it.
It feels so much like they are embarrassed that this movie exists. This movie has no cultural presence. You talk about films that truly don't exist. This is one that
easily
it like slips into that category without effort.
Yeah, there's nothing. I don't even know if there's really anything fun about this movie.
No, I think if there's any source of fun in this movie, where it's like the ridiculousness of Tim Allen turning into something that he has no control over, you can watch other movies like that. You can watch The Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You could watch, like, I don't know, like other different versions of the same thing.
Well, The Santa Claus is so much more wholesome. Like this thing is like there's no
and it's got
emotional connection between any of the characters whatsoever.
It's got a clearer line of what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Because in that movie, Tim Allen is a crappy dad.
We don't have to spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it. This is the setup. He's a crappy dad who has to learn how to connect with his family, his son specifically.
Yeah.
Because he's already at the point in which this movie is like kind of headed towards of like, I'm divorced. I'm watching my kid. I don't have like a huge connection with him.
Right.
And I don't really like Christmas.
Yeah.
And then he has to,
and
learn along the way.
I work too much. I go to work all the time. I live for work.
Right. And this movie is trying to replicate that without really interrogating it with the full consequences. You still got your family. You still got your kids.
Yeah.
Your kids don't hate you. They actually seem to really love you, and they're well adjusted for the most part. So
in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's very PG, like, Dad, get away.
Right.
Like, not like, hey, I'm sneaking out to smoke dope. And
we can talk about the performances soon, but like this feels so much like a Disney Channel thing. Like, enough conflict to have a movie, and that's it. Yeah. Not enough to really like evoke too strong of emotions for young people watching it, and to have like people alienated from like, some of the touchier stuff that's happening.
So that's what I was laughing at too. Like, what's the market for this? Because I feel like if you're younger than 8, right? Like, there's not enough of the Shaggy Dog to understand of the transforming into a dog.
There's not enough fun of Tim Allen being the dog to be had in this movie.
Right.
I feel like if you're that age.
And then if you're 12 or older, you're probably not really into the relationship or the dynamic of the characters, right? Like,
yeah, you're like, get this family stuff out of here.
Like, it's just like, you're not going like, oh, that's how my dad is, right? Because like they play it so like he's like, one of the things that really annoyed me with this is, and then we talked about it, but like, he's got to go to work. He's got a trial. This isn't even like setting up or preparing. Like, he's supposed to be in court, and his wife says, you need to be at the parent teacher conference, which once again, on like a scale of what's important, you know, I feel like if you miss one of those, you'll be okay because you could go to the one the next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Guess what? Your wife can tell you about it later.
Yeah. So like they set him up as a very like, he should be working and the things that he's doing does make sense. So like the animosity with the kids doesn't really strike. And there's not enough of his home life of him ignoring them or not being present. Because even when they're all together, he is acknowledging these things, or at least there's conversations like being set up. There's not enough like he sucks, but also like he's not that bad. Like,
Right.
they towed the line so much with like what he's doing. I'm like, it's like
The worst his character ever is that he's busy. And
Yeah.
that he like forgets about a couple things.
and like it's not even like they. Oh my god, yes. Now I'm gonna get on this freaking roll because now I'm getting pissed off about this. Like, just going on because he's talking about like going to Barbados with his wife, and she's like, you say it every year.
Turning the levels down.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, like,
we're getting loud.
I'm sorry. I'm just like,
You're fine.
like I'm like watching that, and I was like, what? Okay, so he hasn't taken you to Barbados yet. Like, you guys don't even look like you'd be in a freaking relationship.
So that's a whole other can of worms we can discuss. Like the chemistry that they have and how little it's ever expanded upon. I don't know if I want to get to that right now, but we can touch on it eventually.
Sure, we'll keep going.
So this movie has very little going for it in terms of like visual language. The music feels like it's a poor man's version of like the Home Alone soundtrack, like John Williams' score for that movie.
They literally took, like, they said, hey, like, what are the popular soundtracks that kids are into right now? And let's get that going.
Sorry, Megan is texting me about dinner, asking if Dak Good sounds okay to eat.
Is that ramen?
That is the new Korean fried chicken place that opened up by Meyer. And I'm going to say, hell yeah. That sounds good. Sorry, I didn't mean to like derail
You're
the
good.
conversation.
No,
But,
that's when you get slowed down like that, I understand.
Yeah, no, especially when it comes to food. Anyway, we were talking about. Remind me of what we were just
music, the
yes,
the everything in this thing.
Everything. It's amazing when you watch a movie like this and everything feels so lazy.
Yeah.
And yet there are certain elements of this movie in which there is effort being put forth. So I want to touch on the performances. Because it doesn't feel like Tim Allen or Robert Downey Jr. or even Kristen Davis, that's her name?
Yes, I think that's it.
Or even Kristen Davis are like phoning it in this movie. It feels like they are calibrated towards being in a movie like this that is of a higher quality. Like, they're giving performances that would make sense in a movie that's the quality of the Santa Claus, or like a higher caliber Adam Sandler movie like 50 First Dates or something. Like, these are performances that feel like they belong in something that should stick in your mind, but the movie is so devoid of anything else that it just kind of leaves them waiting around in these shallow waters of this film. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I honestly don't think Tim Allen and Kristen Davis have bad chemistry. In fact, I've watched an interview where it's the two of them asking each other questions about this movie, one of the very few pieces of production I could find on this film, and they are having a good time.
They're actors hanging around each other.
They're actors, but they're also, it seems like they're genuinely having a good time. And Kristen Davis seems like she's very lovely.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't give them enough time to really have a dynamic. They're just, I'm mad at you because you're not around. It's okay, honey, I'll be around. Yeah, I love you. Blah, blah, blah. One of the only times I actually genuinely laughed was when she says, "You never say I love you," and he goes, "I love you." He says it like that, and I'm like, bruh, if anybody said that to me like that, I would leave the house.
Intentionally done, I'm assuming.
And I don't know, there's some, I feel like, I don't know, am I wrong? Am I crazy?
With the performances?
I feel like there is something there that this movie is just leaving them behind.
Oh, well, one, the script. Okay, like, obviously you can't do much with the way that this thing's written. Two, yeah, I think we talked about it before. It feels like it feels like quicksand, right? Now I'm gonna pull a quote from The Replacements, but like
This is a great pull.
yeah, like it is. You are sinking, so you continue to try to fight harder to get out, and the harder you fight, the faster you sink. I feel like Tim Allen, being a producer on this film, poured in a bunch of money, so he had to give it his all. I would never at once say he feels passionless in this thing. Robert Downey Jr., same sense, like a little bit. When he has to go for it, he goes for it, and he plays snarky, pretentious guy real well. Kristen Davis in this thing, like she felt like just being like, she like you said, like a very lovely lady. I think she plays like the kind of and I don't mean to know is in a derogatory way, but like a blonde, kind of like
there's like a slightly ditzy quality about her that I think is more so reflective of like, oh, she's a busy mom rather than just she's dumb.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything that I've ever seen her in, that's kind of her. She's got like a deer in the headlights, like a very doughy look to her, right?
Like, obviously, this movie has like a wacky premise, and whenever something like very kind of out there and stupid happens, I think she can effectively respond to that in a way that's believable.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
It's like,
I'm just saying her
what do you mean
presence.
Your dad turned into a dog?
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about?
I'm not saying I think her general presence gives her the air of which she can operate in.
Yes.
Of being like not totally unassuming or oblivious to what's happening with not necessarily Tim Allen turning into a dog, but like the home life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But outside of that, like I feel like they're all trying to pull this up within their performances, because the weird, usually with bad movies, you're like, that guy seems like he mailed it in. I don't know what his character was going for. Like normally you have those moments. I never maybe that's why it's so weird to me, because I never felt like, no one in this thing was ever like, oh my God, I'm in a movie with a guy that turns into a dog. What am I doing? Like they all felt like they're like, they knew what they were getting into.
That's why I'm saying it feels like they're calibrated towards a better version of what this would have turned out to be. Like,
yeah, like had again like a normal director working behind it, and like someone that had like a decent air of like, this is ridiculous. Let's not like Temple. Like I think a Temple Run, right? Hey,
the app, the
there's,
phone game,
the Temple Garden, Temple. There was a Nickelodeon show.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Right,
with the aggro crag.
Sure.
That was like the last big like mountain thing they had to climb up.
I think so, and it had like a talking head guy, and it was like in a jungle atmosphere. I always look it up, and it's not Temple Run, but it's something, it's
Temple Run's
Guardians
the phone
of Hidden Treasure, Hidden Temple.
I think the Guardians of the Hidden Temple, I think is what it is.
So, like when I was a kid watching that, you could tell it was a set. You could tell that the camera was placed in certain areas, right, to capture all this stuff. You could tell that it would get sillier and sillier the further they go, making it more challenging, and also but like giving more visual eye candy, right? Mm. That's what this movie felt like to me. And when you lean into the silliness, like to that extent, with like, hey, we're gonna have a dog, half frog, or a snake that has a tail, like instead of going a different route, they just went like, hey, like how silly can we make this? But like, I don't think they're considering how hard it is to act with that crap going on. Like, Tim, you're going to be in a car full of these things that you can't see.
You're going to have to react to them in a very, like, what felt like too long of a scene.
God bless it. What are we doing?
That was like absurd how long that scene was.
Because they said, this is why this movie sucks, okay? They said, this will be the funniest part of the movie. You understand that? Like they said,
I had that same thought, Mac. I was watching this going like, oh, they're like knee slapping right now thinking, oh, this is going to kill in the theater.
Yes, like this is it. Let's get 10 minutes of Tim Allen driving this car.
Riffing with these imaginary animals that are not there.
No one on the road can believe what they're seeing. Like, can you believe what you're seeing?
Actually, I will say, I think that the chimpanzee and the monkey were there. Because I think that's Crystal the monkey that's in like Hangover and like all sorts of other movies. And then the chimp looked like it was actually there with Tim Allen.
Sure.
I don't believe they were in a car driving down a real road.
Great.
But
that he's in a car with two hopefully domesticated wild animals.
Right.
With CGI puppets all around him, and they're going like, we're gonna be driving by. He's gonna have to figure out how to drive this thing when he turns into the dog. Like, I could almost say, like, besides this movie itself being trash, like that one when they went, this is it, showing how out of touch they were with audience members.
I was saying to Megan, like, how long is this scene going? Because bless her heart, she watched this movie.
Dude, I went and got, like, I had to go through, like, grab my, like, a shirt and a sweatshirt. So I just had it on. I was like, all right, like, by the time I get back, they'll be at the court, right? I left, and it was all of maybe 2 minutes, right? And it had been going on for like 3 or 4 minutes at this point, thinking like, all right, we'll be there.
I love that you actively made the choice to miss part of this movie.
What am I going to miss? Like, I'm like, dude, there are times when you're watching movies and you can be like...
I'm not saying I blame you. I understand. I would have done the same thing.
I'm not, like, nothing's happened that's memorable, right? Like, I'm not, like, we may sit here and if Kyle pulls up the 2 minutes I miss, like... Yeah, sorry about that. You know,
don't worry.
like,
I'm not going to make you eat your vegetables.
Like, but I made the choice. I was like, they're holding on to this for too long, and I feel like, and I gave it a chance, and I said, you know what? I'm just like, these jokes aren't landing. I'll be right back. I come back, and he's now flying out of the car as a dog, going to infinity and beyond.
Yes, we can talk about that after I make the comment of it. This movie felt like it was 3 hours long.
Oh my god,
it felt so long. And the To Infinity and Beyond line itself felt like it wasn't something he recorded for this movie. It felt like they had pulled an audio file from Toy Story and put it in the movie.
They went, hey, like, let's make sure we get a Toy Story reference because that did so well.
Because, hey, guess what? This movie's made by Disney and it's Tim Allen. Tim Allen voices Buzz. We can just put it in and the kids will eat that up, right?
Hey, Tim, we want you to say this. He probably went, no. And they go, we'll do it anyways.
Yeah. They pulled a Robin Williams Aladdin on him.
Yeah.
You know about that?
No.
So when Aladdin, this quick sidebar tangent about Aladdin.
Okay.
Robin Williams, who voiced the genie, was sort of like remarkable in that he was one of the first kind of notable, like, non-voice actor specific celebrities who was lending his voice to an animated film.
Yeah.
And he said, I will voice this character for you if you don't promote me on the poster and don't sell merchandise of, like, me as the genie or, like, whatever.
Sure, you don't have my name, image, and likeness.
Yes. And then Disney was like, screw that, and decided to do it anyway. And that's a reason why Robin Williams doesn't voice the genie in the second straight to VHS movie.
Oh.
Jafar's Return of Jafar or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then they had worked out a deal where, like, they would pay Robin Williams an absurd amount of money, and then he did return for King of Thieves, the third straight to VHS Aladdin movie.
They have 3 Aladdin movies?
Yes. There's probably more now,
I didn't
honestly.
even realize they had 2.
Yeah. I watched the third one a weird amount, like, a lot. I remember it not being terrible, but then again, I barely remember it at all.
Yeah,
so... You laugh. Recommendation. Episode 105.
Yeah, it could pop up.
It was
weirdly enough, I don't remember it being bad. We come back in here, and I tell you again,
we have to make another kid-friendly episode.
Yeah,
to censor ourselves because we're so vulgar. Can we talk about Robert Downey Jr., please? So
is this pre or post rehab Downey Jr.?
This is post rehab. Pre-Iron Man.
Yep.
So this is in like sort of
just right before Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, before Iron Man 1.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said I thought
before
you said
Iron Man 2 as well.
Like
why would I skip to 2?
I don't know. That's why I was confused, my guy. No, so this is in the sort of fallow period in which Robert Downey Jr. was clean. He was back on the wagon, trying to reestablish himself in Hollywood.
You can't say back on the wagon.
Well,
he was getting back into Hollywood.
But getting back into Hollywood, he was sober, he's off the drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was during that time in which, like, he had a nightmare trying to find work
yeah.
for anything, which
He
is
must
why
have did really poorly with like some of the films he was in with Offset stuff.
Well, it's funny because so I was telling Megan this yesterday, and someone verify for me if I'm wrong, and maybe you can, because I don't know if you know. But for the first Iron Man movie, Robert Downey Jr. was only paid like $65,000 or something like that, because Jon Favreau had to fight to get him on that movie, and the studio didn't want to take insurance out on him because of his past and like his conduct and everything going wrong with that. He had been to jail, and they were like, "This you're basically asking us to put like
$500,000."
Right. Okay. So
but
like
he secured a back end profit deal
not
that
65, but like
increased his total earnings for the film to around $2 million after deductions.
Yeah. So like nothing like he's being paid for movies now.
Well, he reached 75 mil for Avengers Endgame.
I believe that. That makes it
make
sense that
dollars.
He's getting like $80 million for Doomsday.
Yeah.
And
God.
So this is the point in which like, okay, I'm just gonna
freaking pick the wrong career.
I'm gonna take. You picked the wrong career,
dude. You have to be on set for 3 weeks. We're gonna make this movie. We're gonna give you $80 million. He did how many of those friggin' things?
The Marvel movies?
Yeah, just give me a number. 6.
He did more than 6. I think he was in like 10 of them.
10. Okay, let's say averaging 40.
If you're including like main starring roles, probably like 6 or 7. I'm guessing.
Okay, so that's
so like I'm thinking Civil War, and like
$400
Homecoming.
million.
Yeah. He's loaded. He's a rich boy,
and he was in CGI.
And to think he got his start in the Shaggy Dog, 2006.
Well, that wasn't the start.
I know. I'm being
the resurgence.
Yeah, this is the start of his comeback.
So, why can't I say his name?
Robert Downey Jr.?
No, who directed Iron Man?
Oh, Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau.
Yes.
Yeah, so he watched the Shaggy Dog and said, "That's my Iron Man."
I highly doubt it, but okay. So it's just funny watching this movie with the novelty of knowing Robert Downey Jr. how we know him now.
Yes.
Like, I mean, he's won an Oscar. He's, forever known as Tony Stark. He's like etched his name as like one of the most successful Hollywood actors of all time.
He's got legacy. He's a pop icon.
And
pop cultural icon.
Absolutely. Household name. You watch this movie and it's such a novelty of like, not just the fact that he's in this movie, but the performance he's giving. Because there's some scenes in which, like, do you even remember that you were on this movie, even when you were sober? And I know that he made this movie, like, post-rehab, like, getting clean, everything. Is this a movie in which, like, if I went up to Robert Downey Jr. now and asked him, like, hey, can you tell me a fun anecdote about the Shaggy Dog? I feel like he would look at me and go, what is that?
No.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, because he was in, what other kid movie did he do?
He did Doolittle, but that was, like, his first post-Endgame venture.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he takes. Well, maybe you might be right with that, because I'm just saying now. I was like, all right, let's think. You're coming out of rehab, you can't find work.
But
Tim Allen approaches you with the Shaggy Dog. He might. I bet you he would remember it. He'd either remember it for the grind, or he'd remember it as getting another shot back into Hollywood.
So when did
the movie itself? Probably not.
So when did he get clean? Around like 2005.
I don't know. I'm going into his I just went into his filmography. Because I don't know much of like young Downey Jr. You know, we were just talking about that. Like, he was U.S. Marshals. I remember him being in, and he looked unhealthy in that film.
So he was nominated for Best Lead Actor for Chaplin, which I think is really what kind of like vaulted him into like A-list status
drugs
problem.
Have you ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
I have not. I know that that's a very iconic piece of Robert Downey Jr. work. So around this time, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, like you mentioned, a couple other movies I'm not entirely sure about. Good Night and Good Luck, Hubert Sebley Jr., It'll Be Better Tomorrow. Okay, I guess that's a documentary. Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. These are movies that I really have like no familiarity with at all. A Scanner Darkly, which is the same year as this.
Yep.
That Keanu Reeves movie.
Yep.
Fur, which I know nothing about. And then, do you want to know what comes out the year after this? That really kind of like, I think actually helps him.
Tropic Thunder.
Well, Tropic Thunder was 2008, but 2007.
2007. Give me a hint. I just looked at it too.
Based on a true story.
Chaplin.
Zodiac.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And which was weird too, because he played an alcoholic in that.
Right. And obviously I think that's more like him kind of like pulling from experience in order to play that character. But this movie truly just feels like I am going to put my whole butt into this performance, and how it's going to age, I don't know. And I feel like you ask him about this now, he's not going to know a thing.
Well, I'm trying to see when he went to rehab, because I want to
build the timeline.
Yeah, because now this has gone from we're going to talk about how crappy this movie is to other things.
We're avoiding the elephant in the room, if you can't already tell people.
Yeah, I'm looking at Wiki right now, trying to see when I guess his dad introduced him to drugs.
Yeah, he's got. We could do an entire, maybe 2-part episode on just Robert Downey Jr. himself. If we really wanted to. So
since July, drug-free since July 2003.
Okay, so yeah. I was thinking it was around that time, like 2005, 2004. 2003 makes sense.
We're pretty close. So hold on, let's see what. So this movie's up, and we had the one other. What did he do before 2000? So we have Gothica. We have Gothica.
I feel like I've heard of Gothica.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Good Night and Good Luck, and Clooney directed Good Night, Good Luck, and then the Shaggy Dog would be the 3 big films, but also Good Night, Good Luck, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, released 2005, so God knows when they were actually, I would assume, filmed after his sobriety.
Right. I think so. I mean, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Shane Black movie. It's one of his works that I think people cite as like, oh yeah, that's one of the better Shane Blacks.
Shane Black did Kiss. Oh, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah. I'm Good Night, Good Luck, which is both weird that they have like 4 words in the title.
Right. Kind of an onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
I'm an English major. I should know.
That's all
right. But yes, I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you think that there is like an interest in how he portrays this character in such a manic, like full send way compared to like the movie's quality?
No, I did not gravitate towards him. I was like, he does very pretentious, snarky, butthole guy real well.
Yes.
And I think it was jarring at the end of this when he was turning into a dog himself.
It is jarring. I do kind of appreciate how uncanny it is, especially how herky-jerky he is with the performance of like, because Tim Allen is doing like I'm a guy who is turning into a dog, and I'm just gonna run around on all fours and like, pant and like do the whole like growling thing. Robert Downey Jr. feels like he is mimicking a dog. Like it feels like he is a dog in a human body in that scene.
Yeah,
which is like it's funny how committed he is to that in that scene, and it's kind of off-putting that this is a performance in a kids movie, and it's like kind of weird and unsettling.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant by jarring.
Yeah,
like
it's very jarring.
There are certain points where it's very striking. Also, I guess I had really a big beef with Tim Allen turning into a dog and being very laissez-faire about it.
He's very casual about how
I guess this is happening.
I guess I'm a dog now.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Sometimes there's like kids movies where it's just, it's supposed to be funny like this, where you're like, I wish like Fincher directed this.
Speaking of Zodiac.
Or give me Aronofsky, right? Like I want to see their take on this happening.
Well, it's funny because so you get movies like, I'm going to shout out another Spencer Breslin movie, Cat in the Hat. We talked about it on this podcast. Where like there's sort of an uncanny creepiness to seeing Mike Myers as this like cat man thing. There's like this idea that, this is supposed to be aimed at kids, and like there's a little bit more going on that just makes this inherently unsettling.
It's like the House of Horrors, right?
Yeah. I do think that there is something to this movie in which like you don't really see him transform. you just kind of like it goes dark and then it cuts to him and he's the dog, or like it's blocked by something.
No, the weirdest one
and
is
then all of a
when
sudden he's transformed.
He turns into a dog and then they kind of zoom in on his face and you can see a Tim Allen face on the dog.
Yeah,
it's like the poster.
Yep.
Like literally, like they
absolutely
like they did that, and I was like, that's unsettling.
Yeah,
just the balance or the happy medium. Neither of them got it. Like Downey goes way into it, which is jarring, and then Tim Allen is so casual about it. It makes it almost not even feel like he's a dog,
right?
Yeah,
it is. I don't know.
I think you could take like B actor, right, the jobber, and put him in Downey's.
Oh
role.
yeah, doesn't make a lick of difference as far as like the impact of performance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the novelty of the fact that it is Downey Jr.
Yeah, now that we have it with knowing his accolades, I guess too. Like when I watch these things, it's like I put myself in the time frame of seeing it, not knowing. I'm not going to act like I know where this guy's at now, which is not a great thought process, I guess, when you're trying to get content going, but. Yeah, that is a startling career choice by Robert Downey.
I know. I'm asking this question because one, I don't know how much more we want to talk about the Shaggy Dog, and two, I know we haven't had dinner yet. Megan wants to get food.
You don't have to tell the audience that.
We might have a harder out than we normally do on.
I'm
on
completely
this show.
fine with that. What do you mean? Do I have anything left to say? This movie sucked. It was awful. Like nothing burgers.
It's so throwaway. It's gonna leave my memory again the same way it did when I was 11 years old and I watched it back then. And I think that there is something to be said about just the mediocrity of it. Not even the fact that it's like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Don't take any chances.
There's no risk. It feels safe. Feels like it should have aired on the Disney Channel, like straight up. And Tim Allen being a part of this just feels like a poor man's attempt at reigniting the magic of the Santa Claus.
I mean, like, I'd love to see. I think the reason, like, Cat in the Hat, there's like all the Mike Myers stuff that was going on, right? Like, and finding more out about him and how he's a real piece of work.
That's a more interesting story behind it.
And it's, it's the Cat in the Hat. So, I mean, like, it's actually like you're living in a cartoon world that is designed for kids. This movie, it doesn't, like, the coolest thing I've heard so far is Tim Allen produced it, so he thought this was a good idea, which is insane to me, but he's probably using his name and going, hey, here's another movie where I transform. I mean, we didn't even talk about this, the freaking dog. Like, the whole element of this thing is this magical dog from
this 300-year-old dog.
God knows where that
Tibet.
They know about for some reason that's never talked about how they discover this friggin' dog.
Because the whole thing is like Robert Downey Jr. and his company are trying to unlock the secret of immortality because this dog has lived so long.
Well,
and they're going to have a patent on it so that they can sell it.
Yeah, the owner wants it, who is also played by another big name.
Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah, which they just, and he like
regular
literally
Paul Thomas Anderson player
rolling out famous people in this thing. Like, he literally came out in a wheelchair, and I went like, why is he in this? Right? Downey in the freaking courtroom scene, they're like, hey, you're the top scientist. Did they even say he's a scientist? Like, he just told the other two he's going to take credit for their work. And I'm like, okay, did they say he was the lead scientist in all this? Like, he's walking around with Danny Glover.
I just assumed he was like vice president of the company.
That's what I did. I was like, oh, he's doing what everyone else does. Like, I have my underlings work for me. I take credit for the work. And then Tim Allen's like, hey, how do you like being? You're not even a scientist. You're the number 2 scientist, and that's what gets him riled up. They don't explore the dog. Like, it's just talked about. Like,
we didn't touch on the like hybrid animals too much. So there's the one that stands out to most to me, and I don't know if you agree, is the frog dog, the bulldog.
I think that's where they were like, this is going to be the funniest one.
Oh yeah, people are going to like have a hoot and a holler, and it's more just disturbing.
Yeah,
it's more just like, oh god, this is gross.
Like when
this feels like David Cronenbergian.
Yeah, right. Or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or the Island of Dr. Moreau. It was all jumbled in there of like, I don't know in what world people are like, oh my god, it's a frog dog. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's a pit bull too, so it's gonna growl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that thing was disgusting. They were all gross. They all it not frightened me or scared me, but unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got this kids movie that it's supposed to be a cantanker or not cantankerous, but a fun time, a hootenanny, right? And like you got these, we're transforming, we're mixing. Who in their mind is like, you know, it's really funny when we combine animals at any point
And combine animals and have them look startlingly realistic.
Yes.
At least to kids.
Yeah.
And so that way it's like, oh, it lends legitimacy to it. It's like, one, who's concerned about that? And two, why would that be something that kids would enjoy?
That's what the one
It's
that
just gross.
I thought was like the easiest one was the snake because it grew a tail, and I was like, oh, that makes sense to me because that's like, you know, leather skin versus a furry tail. That's a complete, like, I know that thing is made up. The freaking frog dog thing is like half-bodied frog up into a dog. You know, like that's always startling, right? Like when anytime that we're gonna do a lobotomy on something.
Not only that, you get the sense that it doesn't even comprehend its own existence and
Yeah.
how like it feels like it's in pain the whole time.
Yes.
It looks like it wants to say "kill me"
Yes.
whenever it's on screen.
Save me.
Put me out of my misery.
Like just it was all yeah, and then let's just word vomit this thing and we can be done because the other problem that I have was the freaking activist that sets fire to the thing. The whole courtroom trial is like BS. There's no evidence.
It feels like a poor man's attempt at Liar Liar, having the courtroom scenes be Tim Allen is acting funny in a courtroom. Everybody's reacting to how weird he is.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want a better version of that, just watch the Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar. He
Liar
doesn't even
Liar.
need to turn into an animal in that movie.
Well, and courtroom scenes are always high-filled drama, so like the stakes need to be a little bit higher. Or if you're making a comedy out of it, right? Like you know it's completely far-fetched. Where this thing it is far-fetched, but at the same token, like we're gonna have arson.
Far-fetched?
Whoa, pun
When
not
you throw
intended.
the stick, I need you to yell "fetch."
Yeah, that was in this thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then that's when he turns into the dog. They also didn't talk about
That's
how he
the only
turns into
scene
the
we
dog.
kind of see him turn into the dog, and it's on like security cam footage.
No, but I'm saying like Tim Allen. All right, so the first time it happens, he's like, "Whoa, I'm a dog. This is wild." Right, and then he comes back. He wakes up in the garage. That's hard to explain.
He like tries to do human things, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a dog."
Oh man, I totally forgot. I'm a dog. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with my life. I don't know how this happened. I'm having an existential crisis. Where am I at? You know, with humanity.
Yeah,
None
he's
of that.
way too cool about it.
Yeah, like, oh man, I'm that 300-year-old dog. I am a dog. And then he at some point figures out like a Power Ranger I can transmorph into the dog, but it's never explained. And I
then
thought
they never cure him at the end.
No.
Like he can just turn into a dog still.
I
He like
guess.
catches the frisbee with his mouth, and that's the end credits.
Yeah, which by the way, still frame shot of Tim Allen with a frisbee in his mouth. What are we doing?
I took a picture of that because it was so funny to me, and I have to censor myself.
Yeah. Shirtless Tim Allen with that look and a frisbee in his mouth.
I'll include this in the episode for the YouTube version.
Not only that, he's a producer, so he went, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, this movie is morbidly stupid. Like
Morbidly stupid, lazy, whatever other negative adjective. Do we want to give it ratings? Now?
yeah,
I'm
we
good.
are. I
think
went
I'm
with
good.
a rating. I don't know if I probably have like 5 films at this rating.
Let's I think you go first.
Oh, I go first?
Yeah.
This movie's atrocious. There's every once in a while there's a podcast called like How Did This Get Made, I think.
Yeah.
Paul Schrader, right?
Jason Mantzoukas, Paul Scheer,
Paul Scheer.
June Diane Raphael.
This is one of those movies where I would be interested in listening to what they pulled up on it because I am very curious of how this movie got made. None of it is worthy of explaining. The casual effort that they go by without like having any, like if the dog had more of a backstory, I might be more believable on Tim Allen turning into this dog and being nonchalant about it, right? Like it's literally like, it'd be like Spider-Man with like that spider just bit him, you know, just being like, oh, that's the one we worked on, you know, and then he just all of a sudden is like, okay, like where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Right? And even Spider-Man's like, whoa, I'm Spider-Man. Like he's just like he looks in the puddle one time. He goes, "Oh boy, I'm a dog." Like,
whoa. He says the line, "There are weirder things have happened."
Yes.
And I'm like, what do you mean weirder things have happened?
like, hey, we're also kids. We're just playing this off because I'm not really a dog. I don't want you believing that. Also, I don't want you thinking I'm a deadbeat dad. So, like, my excuses of me being busy will actually be legitimate, just in case, like, I get a bad reputation for being a deadbeat dad that I'm not.
Right.
You know, the kid turning out to be a genius and he's like flunking English. Listen, I know we talked about that. That annoyed the hell out of me. Of like, I understand where he's coming from, not having the conversation. Like, in what world does it make sense just to start flunking it? Negative attention. So we talk about empty calorie movies. If you just eating air, right? Or like eating a really, really bad piece of cake. This is a movie that you eat and then throw up and lose calories on. All right? This is one of those movies.
Something was taken from me.
Yes, exactly. Like I am now less of what I was before. I gave this a 2 out of 10 because I don't know how many films I have at that category. I wanted it in there. So like if I ever scroll on this again, not having remembered if I've seen this or not, I will see that 2 out of 10 and go, I never rate movies at this level. Stay away.
Yeah.
That's the harbinger. So that's my rating.
I'm not gonna take too long because I know Megan's hungry. Also 2 out of 10. There's something inherently interesting and fascinating about the performances in this movie, and that's what keeps it from being a 1. But I am absolutely with their ratings buddies with you. 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
This thing sucks. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much more to say. We got to move on to the recommendation.
Yeah.
So we got to get going here a little bit, but
let's move.
What do you have for us for 104?
I always struggle with it, and then we talk about movies. That I like grabbing movies that you haven't seen before, and I own this movie. I really like this movie. I remember the first time I watched it just off of a blank recommendation too, of like, oh, okay, Robert Downey's in this, because it was before he was becoming he was in Iron Man, and I think that's what I knew him from. So we're going with Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, that'll be
invoked a lot in this episode.
Well, I was struggling with it. There's a couple movies I haven't seen that I'm like, and I didn't come in prepared. But as soon as you said you hadn't seen it, I was like, perfect. That one goes down. I'm not going to tip my hand on it, and I haven't seen it in a while too. So, movie going Mac may have different thoughts on it.
Cool. Well, Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 2005 will be our movie that we discuss for episode 104. Be sure to check that out before that comes out. Mac, anything to say before we end?
Oh, WWTXT.
Bye, everyone. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page, for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.